Hello everyone! Today we are going to discuss the gluten-free diet and everything that it really entails. So let's get started. I guess the first thing we should start with is what gluten really is. So gluten is a protein, or multiple proteins really, and it's found in wheat, rye, and barley. And these specific proteins are gliadin and glutenin. And so in a gluten-free diet, this is what is avoided. Um, all foods that contain gluten or gluten proteins must be eliminated to be a true gluten-free diet. And wheat, barley, and rye are what you're avoiding here, but there are many foods and products that include gluten that you really wouldn't expect, including medications. So it's important to check labels because the FDA does require all products to be labeled gluten-free if they are gluten-free. And so if you are going to follow a gluten-free diet and eliminate all gluten, you are going to want to start checking the ingredients individually in your products, in your drinks, in your food. There are many nutrition claims when it comes to gluten-free diets, and some are good and some are bad, and some are also neutral. But it's important that we trust the claims that come from either medical professionals or educated nutritionists so that we're promoting wellness. A lot of claims come from social media influencers about trends and things like that. But when following the gluten-free diet, we really want to trust medical professionals and listen to their advice, which would be to follow a gluten-free diet if it's medically necessary or promotes general health, not in attempts to lose weight or follow diet trends. All right, and now we're going to hear about the goal of the gluten-free diet.
The main reason for following a gluten-free diet is having celiac disease, and the goal of a gluten-free diet is to help remove the symptoms that come with this autoimmune disease by removing gluten from the diet. However, some individuals think gluten-free diets will help them lose weight, have a healthier lifestyle, and even improve their overall appearance. But individuals who partake in gluten-free diets are actually removing the intake of the protein gluten from their diet. And the protein gluten is found in rye, wheat, and barley. And just a reminder, a gluten-free diet is only required for individuals with celiac disease. Yet overall, many individuals are starting to turn to this diet because they believe it can help them have a healthier lifestyle. But what they do not realize is that they are actually putting themselves at risk for being in a deficiencies for many of the nutrients needed for the body to maintain the proper bodily functions. In this diet, individuals can have deficiencies in vitamin D, whole grains, vitamins B12, fiber, zinc, and calcium. Gluten-free diets may seem healthier to some, but they can also lead to more sugar and saturated fats being consumed in the diet than compared to individuals who do not follow a gluten-free diet. A gluten-free diet is not easy and can have a toll on an individual's mental and physical health. For example, imagine if you were a child who did not understand why they could not have a certain type of food, and that can be really hard for them to deal with because it can also be really hard on the parents who have to explain to their child why they cannot eat like other kids or their peers. And their peers might ask why they can't eat these foods, which can make the child feel alone and different. It's mental and physical health that is impacted, but also on adults. For example, imagine if you have to go around at a social event and ask what each food contains, or having to go up to someone who planned the party and planned the food and tell them that they made something that you cannot eat. It takes a toll because both individuals end up feeling terrible.
All right, so now we're going to hear a little bit about our FAD diet consensus, whether we think it is a FAD diet or if it's truly important in diet.
So after plenty of research over
the gluten-free diet, we have decided that this diet is really circumstantial as to whether it's going to be a fad diet or not. We basically said that more often than not, it's not going to be a fad diet because the gluten-free diet is mainly used for people with gluten sensitivities or allergies as well as celiac disease. This is a diet that can really save lives and make your life better when you do have those things. And so we don't necessarily think that it is a fad diet. While it could be considered a fad diet in some cases, if you are choosing to use this as a weight loss diet, but mainly if it is going to be used as a weight loss diet, it'll be only because it does promote a healthier lifestyle most of the times, and you do have to be really aware of your food that you are eating because gluten is in so many different things. But going through the fad diet factors, it doesn't really promote a quick fix. It doesn't promote magic foods or supplements. It doesn't necessarily exclude or severely restrict entire food groups, while it does restrict and limit a lot of the foods that you can have. It doesn't have huge rules that necessarily focus on weight loss. It's more for your health, not necessarily just to lose weight. I wouldn't say that that's the main goal and focus of it. And there is a lot of research backing that, so it doesn't just have one study behind it. For recommendations, we would recommend it mainly for the people with celiac disease, gluten allergies, and sensitivities. I wouldn't really recommend it for people without those things just because it is so limiting and it's pretty hard to follow. And that will lead us into pros and cons with it. There are a lot of pros behind gluten-free diet, such as it's essential for celiac disease and gluten sensitivities. It's really safe to follow if you have the proper nutritional planning, and the choices can focus on whole foods. Though there are a lot of cons that follow it as well, such as these diets can make your diet low in fiber. It has a lot of nutritional deficiencies if you're not necessarily following the nutritional planning. It is really important to pay attention to what you're eating and how much of it you're eating when you are on this diet. And lastly, as I've stated before, the food choices behind this diet are really limiting since there is so much gluten in all of the foods that we eat. So for our takeaways, basically, it's not necessarily a fad diet, and this diet is really awesome for people that are going through stuff with celiac as well as gluten allergies. It's been really life-saving and changed a lot of lives with this, and has been super beneficial to many people all around the world. Thank you.
And then these are some of our resources that we use for our research, and I would really encourage you to actually click on the links or read these articles if you're interested or want some more background knowledge. Other than that, thank you guys so much for listening. Have a good one.